NASCAR just created a race that nobody truly understands. A brand new street course. A military base. No history, no data, no previous winners. And somehow, this might be the exact type of event that Shane van Gisbergen loves the most. But did NASCAR accidentally create the perfect scenario for SVG? You'll want to watch until the end, because what Shane van Gisbergen himself revealed about Coronado could be a major warning sign for the entire garage. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to NASCAR Nation News and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest stories in NASCAR. The Anduril 250 at Naval Base Coronado isn't just another race on the schedule. This event is historic. For the first time ever, NASCAR's Cup Series will race on an active United States military base. It's part of America's 250th anniversary celebration, and because it's a completely new venue, nobody knows exactly what to expect. There's also an emotional side to this event. Racing on a military base brings a completely different atmosphere compared to a normal race weekend. The setting, the significance, and the uniqueness of the venue make this one of the most anticipated and talked about events on the entire NASCAR calendar. For many drivers, this won't feel like a normal stop on the schedule. It will feel like stepping into completely unknown territory where every lap could reveal something new and every decision could change the outcome of the race. Normally, teams spend years building notebooks on a track. They study braking zones, tire wear, fuel windows, and passing opportunities. At Coronado, none of that exists. Everybody is starting from scratch. And that's exactly why so many eyes are suddenly on Shane van Gisbergen. Because if there's one thing SVG has proven throughout his NASCAR career, it's that he adapts faster than almost anyone. Remember Chicago in 2023? Nobody had raced that street course before. Yet SVG showed up, learned the circuit almost immediately, and won his Cup Series debut. Then came Mexico City, another completely different challenge, another victory. At this point, it's impossible to ignore the trend. And that's where things become interesting. Some fans believe this race should level the playing field because every driver is learning together. But history suggests the opposite. Street courses demand precision, patience, and confidence under pressure. Those are the exact qualities that built Shane van Gisbergen's reputation long before he arrived in NASCAR. He spent years racing on circuits where one mistake can ruin an entire day. And now NASCAR has introduced another event filled with unknowns. That's why some drivers may already feel uncomfortable. Because if SVG figures this place out before everyone else, the rest of the field could spend the entire weekend trying to catch him. But there's another layer to this story. Shane recently discussed Coronado and admitted that there are still plenty of unanswered questions surrounding this track. One practice session could completely rewrite the pecking order. A corner that looks harmless on Friday could become the biggest passing zone on Sunday. Another could turn into a crash hotspot. Think about that for a second. The first practice session could completely reshape expectations. One corner could become the best overtaking spot on the track. Another could turn into an accident zone. Pit strategy could suddenly become the deciding factor. Everything about this race remains unpredictable. And unpredictability usually creates chaos. There's also something else that makes this event incredibly dangerous. Unlike traditional road courses, drivers won't have years of video footage to study. Crew chiefs won't have pages of setup notes from previous races. Engineers won't know exactly how the tires will react over a long run. That means the teams that learn the fastest will gain a massive advantage. And if recent history has taught us anything, SVG is one of the quickest learners in the entire garage. He has repeatedly shown an ability to understand a circuit after only a handful of laps. That's a skill that can't simply be taught. Some drivers need an entire weekend to build confidence. SVG often finds speed almost immediately, and that's why the pressure may actually be on the rest of the field. Because while everyone else is trying to discover what works, Shane could already be thinking about how to win the race. Now here's where NASCAR may have a problem. The series wants this event to be competitive. They want excitement. They want unpredictability. But what if that unpredictability actually favors one driver more than everyone else? That's the debate surrounding this race. Because every time NASCAR has entered unfamiliar territory on a street course, SVG has looked comfortable almost immediately. Meanwhile, everyone else is still trying to understand the puzzle. Of course, none of this guarantees a victory. Street racing is unforgiving. One missed braking point can destroy your race. A poorly timed caution can ruin strategy. Contact with another car can end your afternoon. And don't forget another major factor. Street circuits usually leave very little room for recovery. At many oval tracks, a driver can make a mistake and still fight back. At a street course, one error can put you in a tire barrier or damage your car beyond repair. That's why patience becomes just as important as speed. The driver who manages risk the best often ends up in contention late in the race. That's why Coronado remains one of the biggest wildcards on the schedule. But if we're talking about favorites, it's difficult not to mention the number 88. The evidence keeps adding up. A brand new circuit, a technical street course, a layout that demands precision and adaptability. Those conditions have repeatedly placed Shane van Gisbergen in contention, and if he qualifies near the front, things could become even more difficult for everyone else. Because passing a driver like SVG on a narrow street course is never easy. Track position becomes critical, mistakes become costly, restarts become massive opportunities. Meanwhile, another question is quietly developing. If SVG dominates again, what does that say about NASCAR's street course experiment? Does it prove that these races create exciting and unpredictable competition? Or does it show that one driver has simply mastered a style of racing that much of the field still struggles to understand? That's what makes this weekend so fascinating. This isn't just another race on the calendar. It's a challenge for NASCAR. It's a challenge for every team. And it may be the biggest challenge yet for the drivers trying to stop Shane van Gisbergen. By Sunday evening, we'll finally have our answer. Maybe Coronado delivers complete chaos and produces a surprise winner. Or maybe history repeats itself once again. Because if Shane van Gisbergen adapts to this place the way he has adapted everywhere else, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. The rest of the field could be in serious trouble. And that may be why so many fans are asking one simple question. Did NASCAR just hand SVG another perfect opportunity?